I'm J.R. Church. Welcome to today's analysis of the news. From Betbart.com, we learned that 2 earthquakes have hit in Japan and India, and they were pretty scary. According to this article, powerful earthquakes just over 10 minutes apart rattled Japan and India Tuesday, triggering panic on fears of a tsunami in the Andaman Islands and injuring dozens of people southwest of Tokyo. The unrelated quakes struck in the early hours, shutting down bullet train service and the affected region of Japan, and provoking a landslide with the nation already braced for more damage from Typhoon Etal. At least 43 people were injured, mostly by fallen objects, with 2 in serious condition. Now, the Japanese tremor registered a strong 6.4, while the quake off the Andaman Islands in the Indian Ocean was a huge 7.6, according to the Richter scale. Panic-stricken islanders fled their homes, fearing that the enormous tsunami they had a few years ago in 2004 might be coming back again. Well, at that time, in 2004, there were over 220,000 people killed by the tsunami. And so they fled their homes, fearing that something like that might happen again. Fortunately, it did not. The quake hit at 1:55 a.m., about 263 kilometers north of Port Blair, and was around 33 kilometers deep. And then in Tokyo, or near Tokyo, the Japanese quake struck at 5:07 a.m. in the Pacific Ocean, about 170 kilometers southwest of Tokyo, at a depth of 28.8 kilometers. It shook buildings and jolted people from their sleep in Tokyo and areas southwest of the capital. So, who knows what's going to be happening in the years ahead? We know that the Bible indicates that there will be a number of earthquakes in diverse places, for it is the sign of the times of the second coming of Christ. So perhaps, and by the way, throughout the 1990s, earthquakes were not so bad. But over the last few years, earthquakes, I'm talking about big earthquakes, have become more and more numerous. Well, from WorldNet Daily comes this article. Amid accusations of insurance companies and the Republican Party deploying AstroTurf mobs of health reform opponents, help-wanted ads are appearing on Craigslist that offer to pay citizens between $9 and $16 an hour to lobby for the passage of Obama's health care. So it looks like the Republicans are really not paying anybody to stir up problems at the town meetings and so on, but the Democrats are offering to pay $9 to $16 an hour for their mob. The ads are being posted for the Fund for the Public Interest, which describes itself as, quote, a national nonprofit organization working to increase the visibility, membership, and political power of the nation's leading environmental and progressive groups. Progressive, how about that? Now, here is a very interesting and important article from WorldNet Daily. Report from Tel Aviv. The website for the U.S. consulate in Jerusalem ignores the Jews and the state of Israel while providing news and services geared primarily toward Arabs and Palestinians. This disclosure, said Harry Schwartz, chairman of the American-Israeli Action Coalition, this disclosure is almost beyond belief. It is as if the United States is totally denying the existence of Israel or Israelis. We do not believe that this is in accordance with the will of the American people. In fact, it goes on to say here, the consulate website maintains an Arabic section, but not a Hebrew one. Almost the entire website is dedicated to helping the Palestinian cause. And this paragraph says, in attendance at this meeting. Let's see where the meeting was here. It says not a single announcement was related to Israel except for a two-sentence item in the opening ceremony to mark the U.S. funding of an initiative to review Israel and Palestinian textbooks. But even that announcement was geared toward the Palestinians. Quote, in attendance were religious leaders as well as representatives from the Palestinian Authority Ministry of Education and Higher Education. The website further announces the availability of educational financial grants to candidates who must be, quote, a Palestinian resident of the West Bank, East Jerusalem, or the Gaza Strip, end of quote, thereby excluding Israelis from the financial grants. One initiative announced on the site is a U.S. grant provided to the Palestinian Association for Cultural Exchange